Hi, I'm Tony Fleming, and this is Fleming's Ultimate Garage.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us on today's video. Listen man, in the world of muscle cars, this one here, 69 Chevelle, big block, 4-speed, and loaded with options, all right, in Hugger Orange. You know how few Hugger Orange Chevelles are out there. This is, makes it such a cool thing. Like, when's the last time you saw one? I love the fact that this has a white interior. I love the white stripe on it because it makes the call-outs of the white letter tires look really good. So let's take a minute, we'll check it out and see what we have, and we'll also see and hear some of the rumble under the hood, because although this is quoted as 325 horsepower, it is way over 325 horsepower. All right, now come on up and check out the paint. What I want you to be able to do is, like, I can't read the front of this, but if I can read it in the paint, then I have a quality paint job, meaning I have paint that's been laid down properly, the preparation underneath is done well, and then it's clear coated, color sanded, wet sanded, and buffed to kind of a show finish, right? So I can read, like, it says mirror finish Hugger Orange paint with white stripes. Don't forget I'm reading it backwards, but Super Sport hood, yada yada. I can read all that. That's giving you a quality paint job. Make sure that if you're buying a car on the internet, you're getting pictures of a car, get that guy to do a video for you, man. Get him to do a video. It can't hurt, but look at that video. If he's back too far, you know, these are the kinds of things that you can hide. If you can't read the kind of shirt that he has on, or read the name of the brand camera that's in the paint while he's run next to it, that makes the paint suspect, okay? In this case here, we're gonna walk around, I'm gonna show you detail stuff so you'll know that this car is not suspect. And then ask him this too, say, listen, do you mind throwing in free enclosed door-to-door shipping? Oh, you can't do that either? Oh, well, how about a 1-year warranty? Can you include that in the price? Oh, you can't do that either? How about new car financing? Can you get that? Oh, you can't get that either. Well, then you know what? I guess I got to go to Flemings, which makes me happy because you know what? We work very hard to get to the place where we can offer those things, and I think with this car here, you can't go wrong. All right, so let's keep looking. Let's wander around for a minute. So, new chrome, new stainless. It's got the correct, sorry, we washed the car and there was a water spot on there. I know that makes me weird. Water spots make me a little nutty. It's got the great gull outs here. Little stuff like a tag bracket. You know how many cars come here, no tag bracket? You say, well, what's the big deal? Well, I'll tell you what the big deal is I walk around and show you all the little things that don't happen until after we're done with the car. The tag bracket, not a big deal, 40 bucks or whatever. Whatever, new emblems, $40 more. This is $40, this is $40. Next thing you know, it's $3,000 just in miscellaneous nothing. All right, come on up here, because here's some important stuff that you need to be asking about. Inside here, power disc brakes, all right? BF Goodrich radial TAs, I think it's the greatest looking muscle tire ever, but your call on that. You know, this car would have originally come with belted tires on it. Radial tire came around the early 70s and it made such a better driving car. If you want to show this vehicle nationally, you probably need to put the belted tires on it, but if you want to just go for a drive, have some fun, take it to a car show, stuff like that, this is exactly how you want it, because this car drives beautifully. Not to mention, I know I've said it a couple times already, and I'll probably say it a few more, it's way more than 325 horsepower. This thing is so snappy and fast. Just with the throttle you can hear it. So, all right, let's keep rolling around the car. Let's check underneath the hood, because you're going to know, what am I getting? All right, now, this is nice because this car here is, believe it or not, a little over restored. And you say, well, that sounds great. That's true, it is great, but most people don't go to this effort to do that. So I want to show you a couple things that make this car a nicer car than most other cars. For instance, stainless fasteners. Nobody uses stainless fasteners. You know why? Because they're super, super expensive, all right? Nobody paints the inner fender liners. They're typically just plastic or the flat black, all right? Detailed engine compartment all the way around. We put the battery toppers on here just so they look cool and authentic. The right decal call out. You know, and we're not claiming this car is a 375 horsepower car, but this car is probably 450 horsepower, all right? Insulation we put in here, that's supposed to be there. The decals, we buy the stuff like this. Horns that work. You say, well, what's the big deal about the horns that work? Well, sometimes it costs me $400 just for the horns to work because there's nothing there. So you got to start at the steering column, wire it all the way through, get it down to here. Next thing you know, you're into it for a full day's labor just getting the horns to work. But I'd like everybody to have good working horns. Nice new wiring in here, those kinds of things. So I like you see this has dual horns as well. All right. Nice. Just a nicely optioned and detailed car. Power steering, you didn't ask me about that, but it's got power steering, and you want power steering because a lot of cars did not come with it, okay? Power disc brakes. Most cars came with plain drum brakes, some had power drum brakes. Optional was the disc brakes, but with the Super Sport you got disc brakes. All right, some of the detail under here. For instance, look at that big sway bar there, okay? All new front suspension. You can see all the new pieces, ball joints, lower control arms, sway bars, bushings, all that stuff is shiny and new and looks really, really good, okay? All right, so let's take a peek in the trunk for a second. Okay, let's take a peek in the trunk here for a minute. All right, I want to show you a couple things. For instance, like it's got the correct decals in here, new weather stripping, it's got a spare tire, which typically you don't get a spare tire. It's got a nice new mat in it. The trunk is splatter coat painted like it's supposed to. Everything looks good. You can throw your chairs in there if you want to go to a show. Leave the trunk open and show it off if you want to, because it looks great. All right, so here's what I want to do. Come on down here, I want to show you a couple things, all right? So, some things that are important. See the sway bar hanging down there? That's kind of how you know some signs that you have a real Super Sport. So that's the F41 suspension, and you would have got that on the Super Sports. This has a 12-bolt rear in it. You would have got that. You would get the boxed-in control arms that hold the rear end in place. Because these cars are powerful, they have to do that. The other thing I wanted to show you is the shocks are nice and yellow. The gas tank is painted. The exhaust system is detailed. The tips are correct. It's got a nice new bumper, that kind of stuff. I just wanted you to see some of the restoration, some of the things that people don't show you that actually takes a lot of work to make the car drive nice. Most of the time you're not going to spend underneath the car hanging out, but you're going to want to drive it and you do want to kind of squeak and rattle free, and this definitely helps do that. All right? So we've talked a lot about the outside of the car, and since you're going to spend most of your time inside the car, let's go check that out next. All right, so let's take a peek inside, because this, again, is where you're going to spend most of your time, and I wanted to show you some of this detail stuff in here. All right, so, okay, now we're inside the car. I wanted to show you some of the detail. Listen, this isn't a standard white interior. This is the pearl white interior. It's a lot more expensive, all right? Original AM radio in here. The dash is all restored. All right, some big features in here that are really, really nice is this has the factory tach. In the tach, it also has the gauges as well. So the temp gauge, oil pressure, battery, obviously the 120-mile-an-hour speedometer, things like that. Got the console, the buckets, everything slides back and forth, and you're like, well, what's the big deal about this stuff sliding back and forth? Well, the big deal is a lot of times this doesn't even move. Stuff is frozen, the carpets don't look good, the console's in sideways, the rear view mirror is bad. This has beautiful visors in it, crystal clear mirror, a restored steering wheel, the correct white shifter knob. All these little things add up to give you a really, really cool car. So don't minimize that when you're on the net looking at these cars, like the brake release handle. That's a new one on there because I like the way that looks, because it says brake release on it. It has the correct chrome knobs for the vent poles. I add the trim around the pedals, all right, because I just think it looks really nice. It just kind of finishes the whole thing. So I have rambled on a lot about the quality of the condition and how great it looks and things like that. And I did mention the engine maybe only 35 or 40 times. So I'm going to go ahead and start it now, because I really want you to hear how wonderful this car sounds. I don't know what's under the hood because I didn't build the engine, but I do know this, that the engine is built well. It has super low miles on it, and it is really, really nice sounding. All right, so as we close up this video, listen, man, we talked about how great looking the exterior of the car is. We looked at it. It definitely is great looking. It's great looking in video. It's great looking in pictures. We sat inside the car where you're going to spend some time. It looks great. It sounds great. The odometer is showing 7,240 miles since the restoration. Okay, it was set back to 0, showing 7,200 miles on it. It's a nice car, man. It's just, and on top of it, it rolls down the road. It sounds great. It's wonderful. Take another couple to dinner in this car. Take your kids out for a drive. They're never going to hear or feel another car like this again. Today's modern car will never sound like that. Never. And as you roll on down the road, everybody wants to do this, because you know what? It's just an awesome car. Anyway, if you can find a way to get this really cool 69 Chevelle Super Sport in Hugger Orange, call us 301-816-1000. We'll tell you all about it.